So listen, earlier on today, of course, Aston Villa came to Tottenham Hotspur, they came to North London, and the Villains, they took the 3 points. Brilliant crowd there today as well. The Villa boys and girls singing their hearts out as they came back from a goal down, an early goal as well. Last time Spurs lost 2-1 against Aston Villa was back in February in the FA Cup. And Aston Villa knocked us out of the FA Cup. And you wasn't there that day. I had Gabby Abongnahor alongside me.
Okay.
And on the phone that night, we were joined by a very angry Spurs caller. He's quite infamous on this station, calls up the sports bar a lot. He's called Angry Matt. Take a listen to how feisty this got.
This is the problem at the football club, and it's a continuous problem that won't change. And until you get rid of the man at the top, because he's the cause of the problem...
Matt, did you not hear the top of the show? I said the exact same thing.
But you're turning around and having a pop at Ange, and you don't know about how the identity of the football club.
Yeah, because you can have two problems in the same problem, my friend. You can have a problem in. Listen, so do you think Ange is out of his depth, Matt?
Matt, listen, fella, I told you when we finished 5th. I don't think he's the right man.
Well, there you go.
But the problem is, why are you pointing the finger at the man when he's 15 and he's got Kinski, which I've never heard of? You've got Kell, who nobody wanted. Dragusin, that supposedly Bayern Munich wanted. Man, are we stupid or what, mate? We're not stupid. Listen, I've got a lady on my left-hand side sitting next to me, right? And do you know what? She goes to me, why are they having a pop at Ange? Why are they talking about this and that and the other? Why don't they talk about what matters at the football club?
So that was back in February. And we get
angry, is Matt angry?
Angry Matt. So imagine my joy.
You almost glazed over there. Yeah. Your eyes almost glazed over.
Imagine my joy as I'm walking towards the Spurs stadium with my young son Leo, excited for the game, and I get stopped by a
always
man.
Quite nice to walk up to a football match.
Yeah,
any football match,
especially
nice.
Like my little 8-year-old son. He's excited.
Smell of the onions,
smell of the burgers, the onions, etc. A man approaches me. You wouldn't believe who I bumped into. The one and only Angry Matt. And if you're watching us on YouTube or your smart TV, you can watch that exchange right now, but you can listen, of course, on the radio.
Matt here, talkSPORT. I'm here with my friend. He said Levy pays my season ticket. I can assure you he doesn't. Right? That angry Spurs fan, not so angry anymore. What do you make of Big Ange getting sacked from Nottingham Forest?
Sad, absolutely sad. The guy, we hold him at a high regard here. He won us a trophy, so we love him. But ultimately, he wasn't the right manager for them.
Is Thomas Frank the right manager for us?
I don't think so. No.
Do you not?
No. I don't think he is either. But if the club go the direction that we're expecting, be it either they sell or they put money into the team, then hopefully, fingers crossed, we can then start attracting better players, and then I believe the manager will change as well. My take on Forest's next manager, Thomas Frank, would be ideal for them.
Really?
Absolutely ideal. So I think we need a bit more higher calibre, not because I believe we're a fantastic football, well, we are a fantastic football club, but in terms of being up there, to take us to that next level, we needed a top manager. Unfortunately, the Contes of this world have gone off, but...
What about Villa today? What do you think?
1-0.
To us?
Yeah, 1-0, 2-1 at the worst. I think Villa can't score many goals.
And the invite to a lovely burger to Jason and Jamie is awaiting.
Absolutely, on me.
We're headed there to test it out.
Absolutely.
So, listen, look, the smiles on his face today, when he calls us, he's normally furious.
Yes, leave it out. We've done it. Finally we got there.
Love, talkSPORT.
That was not so angry Matt today outside the Tottenham Stadium, just to prove how lovely it is to bump into our listeners when we're out and about.
Well, I usually get a lot of positive vibes about our show, which is good. You get
absolutely
some rave reviews when I speak to people. But look, Angry Matt, I'm not having him at all. What's he talking about? I don't want a burger, by the way. You've obviously charmed him to try and get a burger today.
I must admit, he has 2 burger stalls by the ground, and they are fantastic.
I don't want a burger.
And I got one for free, by the way.
Right, I don't want a burger, and I don't agree with him. Thomas Frank is definitely good enough for Spurs. And Spurs sit sick for tonight. If we said at the start of the season, would they be sick? We'd be absolutely delighted. Okay, you've had a tough old game today, but Aston Villa are a good team too. So, and I think the league's going to be a bit like that. When I look down the league, we look at where Newcastle are. They're 13th. We think they're side, right? Fulham are 14th. Brentford are 16th. So, and Nottingham Forest, West Ham, if Wolves are in the relegation zone. I mean, every game is very, very difficult.
So difficult.
So, you're going to get turned over, as Liverpool have proved today, that even the best are finding it difficult in this league. And I think someone could win the league and lose 6-7 games this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those seasons. But yeah, thank you to Matt for his hospitality for me and my son today, and he extends that invite to Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara. Go and see him if you'd like a cheeky burger.
Obviously not to me now.
Not to you
now. I've rubbished him. Yeah.
Let's go over to Chris, who's a Spurs fan. I think me and him have got some similar views. Chris, how are we, mate?
I'm all right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
That's all right. I'm out the wide away in the bedroom. I'm in Dublin. I'm all flued up. There's a shock, a bit of damp. We've got a lot more in common. I met the mother of my eldest girl in the Pasha 41 years ago.
Oh, well, the Pasha Ibiza or a Pasha London?
Pasha Ibiza.
Oh, nice.
I went back by accident. The missus sent me away last year on a golf trip, and the lads called off, so I flew to Ibiza instead. But I weren't paying 120 sobs to get in there, 30 quid a drink. I ain't that romantic. I'm going on about the Tottenham way of we're buying everybody else's young talent, and I'm wondering why our academy is not developing our own talent. We had Lancashire last year, who, he puts in a shift, whatever. These boys we got, they're French boys, played in Belgium, whatever, or Germany, and they're not actually doing it.
No.
So from my experience, because I've lived abroad all my life, and I've seen a lot of the young boys who come over, the upbringing they get at football clubs in Europe is technically fantastic. When they come to England, they grow a bit of a backbone, as in Kobe, Alderweireld, and amongst others. And we're just not doing it at Tottenham. We're not doing it at Tottenham. These boys we got, like Odegaard, he's like a deer in the headlights. And I'm wondering why, what the story is. Why aren't we giving our boys a chance?
Well, Chris, you know what? I just want to come in on there because, like you said, Odegaard today, he definitely looked energetic in phases, but he kept getting to that position where, it's 1 versus 2. He's got to go down the line. He's got to do something special, and he looks scared. Now, the very little that we got to see of Mikey Moore last season, and I remember a game in Europe where he came off and, Maddison was waxing lyrical about him, calling him our very own Neymar, etc. Now, Mikey Moore is at Rangers as we speak, the club that doesn't have a manager currently. Now, as you say, I don't understand why Mikey Moore, who, like he says, is a talent from our academy, knows the club, he's someone who's come through, why these guys aren't necessarily getting a chance. But Odegaard, for example, is. Pards, what do you reckon that is down to?
Well, firstly, the academies that we have are actually well structured now and well policed, and probably the envy of the world, if I'm honest. I know there are certain clubs in Europe that always produce young players. It's almost like they have a system that works. Ajax being one of those clubs, Barcelona being one of those clubs, Real Madrid bring through a lot of their own talent. But to actually break through to the first team is more difficult now because of the finance the Premier League has. So you're buying world stars. It's a world league. I think Wolves carry 2 Englishmen, for example, in their squad. The rest are all international players from abroad. Yeah. So it's very difficult to get in, that's for sure. I don't like this, the fact that they're pure profit on the PSR, on your financial fair play system, because that is creating a sell situation where you're getting these young players who are being traded, like Anderson had to be traded at Newcastle just to make sure that they got, they could play in Europe and they were subject to Premier League rules. So that rule needs to change. In terms of the quality of those individuals, they have to be top players. And sending them out on loan like Mikey Moore is at Rangers is the way to see if they're cracking it. Now, at the moment, I don't know if he's playing in the team, but you would suspect that if he's good enough, he needs to be playing. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then the margins are really tight. And, of course, because they're young players and they're learning their trade in the Premier League, it does make it very, very difficult to sustain a 3-game, 4-game, 5-game run.
Well, that's my thing. I mentioned a couple of names for you, Chris, in terms of what Spurs have brought in this season. Kudus and Polina, right? They are the ones that have come in and have been very good. But there's something in common with them. Premier League proven players. One's done it at Fulham and then went to Bayern Munich, and Kudus was arguably West Ham's best player 2 years ago, right? I think this whole idea of like, you know, Tell was a fringe player at Bayern Munich, or I know Odegaard played for Burnley, but they went down the same season. I don't think he's had much Premier League experience. I think this idea of, you know, waiting and seeing how a player's getting. You said it before when we had last year's transfer with Archie Gray and a couple of others, buying for the future. Spurs still don't have enough in that squad of buying for now. Like, for example, again, we're going to mention them. They are the top of the league right now, and they are looking like they're going to win the Premier League. Arsenal, they went out and bought Eze. They bought Madueke. They bought people that can instantly fit into that team at any moment. And I think Kulusevski being out, Maddison being out, and Solanke being out, both 3 Premier League proven players, is a huge blow for us at the moment. And the one thing I will say is, apart from those amazing bit of skill from Villa today with their finishing and touches and passes, they didn't put us under any threat. I think that Thomas Frank has gone and sorted that defence out, but I think at home he might be a little bit too negative, and I think he needs to address that.
Yeah, I don't think negative is a word I'd use for him. I think he's very, very much on structure, and he's very much on counter-attacking and quick attacks. And sometimes that low block, which you can imagine at Brentford, he hasn't got too much experience of.
No.
Right? This is always the way sometimes. At Newcastle, when I was a manager at West Ham, we was always low block, a counter-offensive team, very solid, very strong. When I went to Newcastle and you have to dominate the game and you have to be the boss and you have to find a way through a low block, it's a different thing. It's a different thing.
It's getting harder as well.
And it is getting harder. And
so much so that we've seen the return of the Rory Delap. The long throw is back in vogue in 2025.
Well, you know, there's a stat that's come out today that last year, long throws was like averaging 1.5 per game across the Premier League. It's now, 3.7.
Wow.
And Liverpool were doing it today. Man United were doing it today. And the thing about a long throw is, a bit like a corner, the centre halves are coming up from the back. There's a lull in the game. And, people are starting to kind of say this about Arsenal, coming in, a little bit like a NFL set play team, because, it does take a while to set up a long throw. And if you have a long throw corner, goes out, long throw, corner, that's going to take up like a 10-minute period of a game. So there's no rhythm to it.
It's football in the mud, Pods.
Well,
it's football in the mud. I'm going to say it's football in the mud, guys.
Let me just say, there's a balance. And, let's be honest, we're only talking, let's rewind, right? Rewind, 4 or 5 months to PSG's performance in the Champions League. And everyone's going, well, this is the future of football. And I thought to myself, might see that reflected in the Premier League this year. The way they played, that quick pass and move and fast and speed and getting at the opposition quick as they can. We haven't really seen that. It's been stop-start kind of start.
I feel like the Premier League, especially because of how competitive it is that you've just mentioned.
And the margins.
And the margins, people are so scared to lose. And that's what it feels like. And it is, I'll be honest with you, I was over Spurs today. Apart from those bits of quality from Villa, good goal for Spurs as well. It wasn't entertaining. Can
I give you a little bit of a warning?
Yeah.
Right, you ready? The only team, to me, that looks like it's in complete control, again, is Manchester City. And what I mean by that is that...
What, not Arsenal?
No, I think Manchester City are in real control of the game for longer periods than Arsenal. Arsenal are not a team that kind of dominate the possession so much as Man City. And I'm beginning to think, and I didn't think I would say this, but what are we, 8 games in? I'm beginning to think Man City could be the team to beat.
Well, I wonder what Angry Matt, the Spurs fan, thinks of today, and you can have a chat with him about Thomas Frank, maybe. 03717 22 33 44. It is the final word on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT.